Imagine one day explorers arriving to find our cities deserted. Our books have perished in some unknown catastrophe. All that is left to speak for us are the written words we have carved in stone. The travelers can't make sense of our mysterious scripts, but if they could, would they comprehend who we were? In the jungles of southern Mexico, the ancient ruins of the Maya posed such a mystery. They revealed the civilization of stunning achievements, created in isolation from Europe and Asia. Their cities were full of strange inscriptions, fantastic twisting forms called hieroglyphs. They were carved on monuments and objects, painted on pottery, and written in bark paper books. What secrets did they hold? Were they pictures and symbols, or in fact, true writing expressing an ancient language? After centuries of struggle, the stories of the Maya scribes are coming to life. In the 16th century, the flames of the Spanish Inquisition scorched the New World, decimating the Maya civilization. They had a great ceremony of destruction in the plaza and burned hundreds, maybe thousands of books. Out of all of that, only 4 books, or partial books, survived. Since ancient times, the Maya have lived in a region that extends from southern Mexico through much of Central America. The heart of their civilization lies between the highlands of Guatemala and the plains of the Yucatan, a vast region of dense jungle. Here, around AD 200, they began building their great cities, Tikal, Copan, and Palenque. They were renowned for their monumental architecture. Pyramids and temples towered over plazas and ball courts, where kings ascended to the throne and warrior athletes competed for their lives. Maya civilization thrived for over 2,000 years, distinguished by a sophisticated culture. As Europe entered the Dark Ages, these city-states reached the height of their glory, some supporting hundreds of thousands of people. Yet mysteriously, in the 9th century, the Maya abandoned many of their cities. The temples and pyramids in the central lowlands were swallowed by the forest and forgotten. Almost 1,000 years later, a Spanish explorer named José Calderón stumbled upon the jungle of Palenque and found a huge stone tablet carved with figures and hieroglyphic writing, something that's totally alien to them. The work of decipherment had already begun with the rediscovery of Maya books that had survived the Spanish conquest. Until 1810, when a massive volume on the Americas was published in Paris and included 5 of these pages, strange hieroglyphs pushed an eccentric scholar, Constantine Ruffin, to try and crack the code. He looked at these boring numbers and realized it never had more than 4 dots. A bar probably stands for 5. That was the first time anybody had ever deciphered a Maya hieroglyph. The first step in analyzing an unknown writing system is to count the signs. If a script has 22 to 35 signs, it's probably alphabetic, representing simple sounds. If there are 80 to 100 signs, it's probably based on syllables. But if a script has several hundred signs, surely its log or graphic were based on signs for the whole world. The Maya script has about 800 signs, too many to represent an alphabet, and far too few to have signs for each word of a language. So scholars assumed that it was a limited log or graphic system, with signs for only a few hundred words. The implications were revolutionary. A sign could be written abstractly, or as the head of a human, animal, or god. One side could be slipped inside another or partly overlapped. 2 signs could join, merging their attributes. Glyphs even included figures of monsters and gods. The art of the system is genius, within which they combine these different possibilities. The graphic components of Maya writing are absolutely overwhelming. Focused on a pair of signs, scholars pointed out that one of these signs signaled a count forward to a new date. The other a count backward to a prior date. The 2 glyphs shared a common sign, the head of a shark, meaning count. Several other signs also substituted for the shark: a human head, a monkey, and in one instance, a bracket-shaped sign, which was also the phonetic sign for the syllable U. And all of these signs also stood for the syllable U. The proof: each sign freely substituted for the bracket in context that had nothing to do with counting. The backward and forward counting glyphs were phonetically spelled phrases: I, U, T, U, T, ya. In Maya, I, U means then it happened, and U, T means since it happened. They were telling their stories. It's recording a language. Visually, it was complicated, but once you organize that visual material into the system that existed, it made perfect sense and you could predict things. You could really crack the code. U, tu, pa, u, tup, his ear ornament. U, ba, ki, his bone. U, lo, this plate. You keep his drinking vessel. They're probably gifts. They're received, they are given, and they're part of a social process that helps to bond these societies together. Soon, more esoteric ideas emerged in the writing. They were glyphs describing frightening otherworldly beings. As the reading poured out, a more complex view of the Maya began to emerge. Instead of these peaceful, stargazing astronomer priests, the Maya were shown to be like any other civilization with a great deal of conflict. One of their great claims to fame was how many captives they had taken offerings to their gods and ancestors. They would also periodically engage in the most precious offering of all, which was an offering their own blood. The importance of self-sacrifice can be seen in their ceremony. A royal lady conjures a vision of a serpent with an offering of her own blood. She's perforated her tongue with a stingray spine to draw a rope embedded with thorns through the incision. In front of her, slips of paper soaked in her blood, burned in a ceramic bowl, and out of the rising smoke forms the vision of a serpent. From its mouth emerges the figure of an ancestor. The upper text describes the ceremony. On March 28, 755, a vision was conjured of a serpent Yash-Cha-Chan, the animal spirit of the god Kawin. And then a vision was conjured of the ancestor Yash-Cha-Win. The glyph for conjure shows a hand grasping a fish. It's the idea of grabbing something that's elusive for reaching into another realm in a way, or even into the underworld and wrenching something out of that and bringing it into your own world. That is conjuring. With the cracking of the Maya code, the words of the Maya's ancient scribes have finally come to life, revealing a history and literature of a vanished world.